There's a peculiar feeling, isn't there? A quiet hum of dissonance beneath the surface of your days. You're playing the game, you're moving the pieces on the board just like everyone else. You smile at the right times, you nod in the right meetings, you chase the things you've been told are worth chasing. But lately, you've started to notice that the game board is warped. The rules seem arbitrary, invented, and the prize? The prize looks a little bit like dust. You find yourself at a party, surrounded by laughter and chatter, and a profound sense of unreality washes over you. You feel like an anthropologist studying a strange tribe, or an actor who has forgotten their lines and is suddenly aware of the stage lights and the painted backdrop. This isn't a feeling of superiority, no. It's far more unsettling than that. It's a feeling of deep, aching loneliness. A solitude that comes not from being alone, but from being surrounded by people who are passionately, desperately invested in a dream from which you are beginning to awaken. You feel broken. You feel like you are failing at the simple business of being a person. You ask yourself, why can't I just enjoy this? Why can't I want what they want? What is wrong with me? But what if I were to tell you that this feeling of being broken is not a symptom of disease, but the first stirrings of health? What if that ache of alienation is not a sign that you are lost, but the first indication that you are finally beginning to find a path that is truly your own? This phenomenon, which the modern world scrambles to label as anxiety, or depression, or burnout, is sometimes none of those things. Sometimes it is the entirely natural and even beautiful side effect of a change in your very state of being. You have, for lack of a better term, started to vibrate at a different frequency. You are beginning to hear a deeper music beneath the frantic noise of the collective. And the 10 strange things you are beginning to experience are not problems to be solved. They are landmarks on your journey home. You see, the world as we know it, the grand social enterprise, is a kind of collective agreement. It's a magnificent, intricate, and utterly hypnotic dance. From the moment we are born, we are taught the steps. This is success. This is failure. This is beautiful. This is ugly. This is ugly. This is trivial. We are given our costumes, our careers, our identities, our political affiliations, and we are pushed onto the dance floor. And for a very long time, the music is compelling. The rhythm is intoxicating. The approval of the other dancers feels like warmth, like life itself. We dance and we spin, we compete for the spotlight, we mourn when we stumble, and we celebrate when we execute a particularly difficult move. The purpose of the dance is to keep dancing. The goal is simply more. A better position on the floor, a more elaborate costume, a more admired partner. Your trouble began the moment you stopped listening to the orchestra and started to feel the beat of your own heart. You started to notice that the grand ballroom is a bit flimsy. You could see the strings pulling the chandeliers. You could smell the dust on the velvet curtains. And you realized, with a quiet, gut-wrenching certainty, that most of the dancers have forgotten they are dancing. They believe this is all there is. They believe their role is who they are. Their exhaustion, their desperation, their fleeting moments of triumph, they believe it all to be the very substance of reality. Your pain is the friction between your awakening soul and their committed dream. Your weariness does not come from your inability to keep up, but from the immense soul-crushing effort of pretending that you still believe the dance is real. You are a lucid dreamer in a world of sleepwalkers, and your very presence, your quiet stillness, is a disruption to their frantic performance. They look at you and see a failure, a spoilsport, someone who isn't trying hard enough. But what is really happening is that your consciousness is becoming allergic to the inauthentic. And as this happens, the first strange thing you will notice is a profound and deepening sense of solitude. But this is not the gnawing loneliness of before. It's different. It's a kind of rich, fertile emptiness. The constant chatter of the social world, the small talk, the gossip, the endless analysis of the game, it all starts to sound like static. It's not that you feel you are above it, it's that you simply can no longer find a place in you where it can land. Your capacity for superficial interaction begins to atrophy, like an unused muscle. You might find yourself at a dinner table, listening to a conversation about property values or office politics, and you will feel an almost physical inability to participate. Your mind doesn't judge them, it simply drifts. It drifts to the feeling of the air on your skin, to the complex flavor of the wine in your glass, to the immense silent universe that exists just outside the window. This can be terrifying at first. You will feel you are losing your connection to people. But what you are truly losing is your addiction to distraction. You are beginning to befriend the silence. And in that silence, you start to hear your own voice, perhaps for the very first time. You are discovering that you are, in fact, devastatingly interesting company. This leads, inevitably, to the second strange phenomenon, a catastrophic loss of ambition, at least in the way the world defines it. The ladder of success that once seemed so solid, so important to climb, now appears to be a child's drawing, a two-dimensional cartoon leaning against a painted wall. The promotions, the accolades, the accumulation of more and more things, the desire for them simply evaporates. It doesn't crash and burn in a dramatic rebellion, it just quietly fades, like a ghost at sunrise. Your friends and family might see this as a crisis. They'll worry. They'll think you've given up, that you've lost your drive. They are trying to restart a motor that you have consciously unplugged. What they don't understand is that you haven't stopped moving. You have simply stopped running on their treadmill. The relentless, anxious striving that society calls ambition is almost always a running away from something. A fear of inadequacy, a fear of being forgotten, a fear of the great yawning void of the present moment. You are not giving up. You are simply refusing to run anymore. You are beginning to find a profound satisfaction in the act of standing still. You are learning to be here, in this body, in this room, in this moment. And you discover the absurd secret that what everyone is chasing at the top of that ladder is a pale imitation of the peace you are beginning to find by simply getting off of it. And this is when the third, and perhaps most wonderful, strange thing begins to occur. You develop a strange and inexplicable affection for the mundane. The universe, it seems, has decided to reveal its secrets to you not in grand epiphanies or mystical visions, but in the steam rising from a cup of tea, or in the way dust motes dance in a sunbeam, or in the intricate fractal patterns of a frost-covered window. Things that were once merely the backdrop to your important life now become the main event. You can spend 10 minutes just watching a spider spin a web and feel a sense of awe that you once sought in cathedrals or on mountaintops. You start to see that the cosmic intelligence, the great, playful mystery of it all, is not hiding in some remote heaven. It is flagrantly, almost comically, on display in the most ordinary of things. This is the great cosmic joke. We seek the sacred in special places, through special rituals, when it is and always has been, shouting its existence through the taste of a fresh strawberry or the sound of rain on the roof. Your senses, no longer dulled by the frantic pursuit of the extraordinary, are finally coming alive. You are not becoming a mystic, you are simply becoming a realist, someone who is finally paying attention to what is actually truly here. Of course, a direct consequence of this is the fourth strange thing. You will become, by all conventional standards, quite boring. The people who were once drawn to your drama, your wit, your sharp opinions, your exciting stories of conquest and struggle will begin to drift away. You have ceased to provide the entertainment they crave. You no longer have strong opinions about things that don't matter. You don't get outraged by the latest news cycle because you see it for what it is, the same recurring play with different actors. You don't engage in gossip because the inner lives of others, you now realize, are as complex and mysterious as your own and are not for your consumption. When someone comes to you with a grand problem, a dramatic crisis, you don't offer frantic advice or panicked solutions. You simply listen. You hold space. You offer presence. To a mind addicted to turmoil, this stillness is maddening. It's uninteresting. They will say you've mellowed out or that you've lost your edge. What they mean is that you have resigned from your role in their soap opera. And that's perfectly all right. You are no longer a character, buffeted by the winds of a contrived plot. You are becoming the audience, watching the whole grand, tragic, beautiful play of life with a gentle, amused, and deeply compassionate detachment. This new sensitivity isn't just psychological. The fifth thing you'll notice is a heightened, almost physical, sensitivity to your environment. Places, people, and even information will have a palpable texture, a vibration that you can feel in your nervous system. Crowded shopping malls might suddenly feel like a psychic assault. The relentless, aggressive energy of a 24-hour news channel might make you feel physically ill. You will find you can no longer tolerate certain kinds of music, certain kinds of movies, certain kinds of conversations. It's not a judgment. It's an energetic reality. You are becoming a more finely tuned instrument. And a finely tuned instrument is, by its very nature, more sensitive to discordance. You wouldn't put a Stradivarius violin in the middle of a heavy metal concert and then blame it for sounding terrible. You are simply learning to recognize which environments are in harmony with your own frequency and which are not. This is not about creating a sterile bubble for yourself. It's about becoming a conscious gardener of your own experience, learning to cultivate the soil in which you can most fully blossom. As you begin to live in this more harmonious way, the sixth strange thing starts to happen, and it's one that will make you question the very nature of reality. Synchronicities will begin to multiply. Meaningful coincidences, once a rare and startling occurrence, will become almost commonplace. You'll be pondering a difficult question, and the answer will appear, highlighted, in a book you randomly open. You'll think of a friend you haven't seen in 10 years, and they will call you that afternoon. You'll have a need for a specific piece of information, for a small amount of money, for a particular kind of help, and it will manifest in a way that is so elegant and so timely that it defies simple probability. The rational mind will rush to dismiss this as confirmation bias. But what is really happening is more subtle and more profound. You have stopped trying to wrestle with the river of life. For most of your life, you tried to force it, to dam it, to channel it according to your own rigid plans. You were constantly swimming upstream, and it was exhausting. Now, you are learning to float. You are learning to read the currents. You are starting to notice the subtle eddies and flows that were always there, but which you were too busy fighting to see. These synchronicities are not magic. They are the visible evidence that you are beginning to collaborate with the universe, rather than trying to conquer it. You are learning the gentle art of allowing things to happen. This sense of allowing leads directly to the seventh and most liberating of these strange phenomena. You will lose the desperate, burning need to be right. Arguments, debates, the entire exhausting enterprise of defending a position, it all begins to seem like a ridiculous waste of energy. It's not that you no longer have a point of view, it's that your identity is no longer fused to that point of view. You can hold an idea, an opinion, a belief, but you hold it lightly. You can see that the person arguing with you is not your enemy. They are another expression of the universe, looking at reality from a different angle, shaped by a different history. Their truth is as real and valid for them as yours is for you. You realize that the entire game of right and wrong is a construct of the ego, which needs to build a fortress of certainty to protect itself from the vast, unknowable mystery of existence. When you let go of the need to be right, you tear down the fortress. You become undefended. And in that vulnerability, you find a strength that is far more real and enduring than any intellectual certainty. You can listen without planning your rebuttal. You can understand without needing to agree. This is a superpower in a world tearing itself apart over competing certainties. Naturally, as you change so profoundly, your relationships will also transform. The eighth strange thing you will notice is that your circle of friends will shrink, but the connections that remain will deepen immeasurably. The many acquaintances who were drawn to your social mask, to the person you were pretending to be, will fall away like dry leaves. It can be painful, like a series of small deaths, but what remains is pure gold. You will find that you can count your true connections on the fingers of one hand, and it will be more than enough. These are the people with whom you can be silent. These are the people who are not afraid of your stillness. They are not interested in your performance. They are interested in your presence. The conversations you have will be different. You'll talk less about what you've done and more about what you are. You'll explore the inner worlds together, not just recount the outer ones. You will realize that true intimacy is not about shared interests. It's about a shared resonance. It is the profound and unspoken recognition of the same deep self looking out through two different pairs of eyes. You are no longer collecting people. You are cultivating soul family. And as your relationship with people and the world changes, so too does your relationship with the ultimate mystery, time. The ninth strange thing is that time itself will begin to feel fluid, to warp and bend. The rigid, mechanical ticking of the clock, that metronome that has driven your life since birth, will lose its hypnotic power over you. There will be moments, perhaps when you are simply watching the clouds or listening to music, when time seems to slow down and stretch into a vast, spacious eternity. An hour can feel like a lifetime of peace. And then there will be other periods, weeks or even months, that will fly by in a seamless, effortless flow, because you are so fully engaged in the present that you are not counting the moments as they pass. You are unhooking yourself from clock time, which is the time of the mind, the time of anxiety and planning and regret. And you are beginning to tune into what might be called cosmic time, the organic, rhythmic, and unpredictable pulse of life itself. You are learning to live by seasons and cycles, not by schedules and deadlines. You are discovering that the present moment is not a stepping stone to the future, but the only place where life ever actually happens. And all of this, all these strange and sometimes disorienting shifts, culminates in the 10th and final phenomenon. It is the most subtle and yet the most profound. It is a quiet, pervasive, and unshakable sense of okayness. It's not the giddy, frantic happiness that the world tries to sell you. It's not a permanent state of bliss or a denial of pain. Pain will still come. Sorrow will still visit. The world will still be chaotic and mad. But underneath it all, at the very bedrock of your being, a quiet hum will emerge. A deep, intuitive knowing that, on some fundamental level that words cannot touch, everything is all right. Everything is unfolding exactly as it must. The wave might be crashing violently on the shore, but you are also the entire, calm, immeasurable depth of the ocean beneath. You have finally, deeply understood the cosmic joke, that you were never broken. You were never separate. The seeker and the sought have always been one and the same. The struggle, the anxiety, the desperate search for meaning, it was all a game you were playing with yourself. A case of mistaken identity. And so, a new kind of silence settles in your life. Not the silence of absence, but the silence of fullness. You stop fighting the current of the river because you realize that you are not the swimmer. You are the river. The loneliness you once felt in the crowd is replaced by a sense of profound connection to everything. The trees, the stars, the person who bags your groceries. It's a quiet life. It's a simple life. From the outside, it may look like nothing much is happening, but on the inside, everything is happening. So the next time you feel that old ache, that sense of being out of step with the world, don't rush to fix it. Don't label it a failure. Pause. Breathe into it. Look at it not as a problem, but as a messenger. What is this feeling trying to show you about the game? What is it trying to tell you about the truth of who you are, beyond the role you've been playing? These strange feelings are not signs that you are falling apart. They are the growing pains of a soul that is finally, gloriously coming together. They are not a curse. They are the curriculum.